I have 6 lovely children. Only 6. They drive us up, they drive us down.
Yes.
They put our moods everywhere. But then I enjoy being a mother. And I'm not only a mom. I go to work. And I'm president of Spinal Injury Association. Currently, I think I'm holding 2 positions, and also as executive officer. This is the transition that just took place last year between me and Josco. Before acquiring my disability, I would just wake up in the early hours around 4. I'd have my quality time with the Lord, and I try to get the kids together around 5. There'll be a session, a family devotion, and then I go off into the kitchen, and then I would prepare breakfast and also lunch for the kids and see them off to school. And the same with my husband, because we both work and life was like that. After acquiring my disability, I'd say that it's a new life altogether, because there's so many changes, so many things that you'll have to adapt to. For the first month, I would just wake up and listen as to who's up and who's where, what's happening, what they're talking about. And then I'd ask for someone to assist me into the living room, onto my chair, into the living room. And then I'm just looking at them doing their work. But then I was observing and at the same time working out a way that I would be able to help out, to still perform my duty as a mom, because I saw that my hands were moving, and I believed that I still could do something. So after that 1 month, I was able to wake up in the morning and do my work, but not so much. There was limitations to what I could do in the house. I have to ask for one of the kids. My youngest son was just 2.5 years old. There was a competition writing about people who had faced difficulties in their lives and someone who had assisted. My son won the category for his age. I had written a story of how it assisted me as a personal assistant at home. And because at that age he was helping me out to get to the kitchen, to get the stove onto the table, the dining table where we would do our cooking, checking if we had enough kerosene in the stove, and if the stove wicks was all working. And he was my legs. And he would get the flour and all the ingredients that I needed. If I had to prepare roti, because my kids loved roti, they loved to take roti and curry to school. My son, my youngest one at that age, was reaching out for things that I needed. When I joined the disabled organizations, I've been a volunteer all along as a treasurer for Fiji Disabled People's Federations, the umbrella body for the 4 cross-disabled organizations, until this year, after the annual general meeting of Fiji Disabled People's Federations. But then last year, Josco has been wanting to move on to something else and live his life, and he's decided that this has to take place. He sees something that I have. That's what he says, this quality that we both have the same thinking, I'd say, in regards to the services that we provide. Spinal injury, the services is free of charge. We will never sell the devices that we receive from our donors. And that was one thing he said that he really liked about me, that I had the same thought about how we should have continue with our operations in this service delivery. It's also that I participate in sports. I play table tennis and I love this sport and it's taken me places. I've come to know more people, going out and meeting people within the sporting bodies. So I come back and I share with him that I've met this person, I've spoken to this, and I I mingle with everyone, but I'm always looking at myself as not really someone who could be speaking out there with people in authority maybe. But then I've noticed since taking up this position, this transition has taken place, that I'm wrong. I'm going out there, I've been seen by people, I've become more confident. I'm still, I'd say, learning, taking things each day as it comes.
More than 40 children with special needs took part in the first ever para-table tennis fun day in Nosori today. Paralympian Mary Roden was also present, providing tips to participants and sharing her experiences.
When I was invited, I didn't give excuses. I said, yeah, okay, I'll come with you. And I went down that night. I tried it for once, and I said I loved it, and I want to continue with it. And that's what kept me going up till today.
I first joined table tennis in September 2014. I started playing table tennis from then till April 2015. I was told that I was going to take a trip overseas to Australia, and that was going to be my first trip abroad. And yeah, it was exciting, thinking about, oh, we're going to go on a plane, a big plane, we're going to see these things that we see in the movies. And we got to Australia, and then we had our matches, and my first match was against the number one of Australia, and I just defeated her somehow 3 sets straight. I just couldn't believe it, but I did it. I came back to Fiji, and I played in the Fiji Para Open, where I've won the, I'm in a class 5, we have categories. Women's singles class 5, I won the top award. And it's been happening like that for the last 3 years, I guess. I've been winning gold, participated in the Mini Pacific Games 2015 in PNG, where I won gold for Fiji. And I've participated in the Rio Paralympics. Fiji. Been to Brazil, still can't believe it. Yeah. And I didn't come back with a medal, but a lot of learning. And I guess if I have to participate in the Tokyo 2020, I think I should be doing better than what I did in Rio 2016. And yeah, toured New Zealand last year, December. I also won I won gold for the singles event, women's singles. And most recent was the Oceania Paralympics held here in Fiji at the Vodafone Arena, where I won the only gold for Fiji. And yeah, it's been great. I have got a lot of medals, and that's how far I've come up with table tennis. And I'm also secretary in the Fiji Table Tennis Association. Apart from what I have with spinal injury and home as a mom, I am also a board member with the Fiji Table Tennis Association. Also with the Oceania Paralympic Committee, which is OPC. Just recently being elected as a new board member as athlete rep, where I get to be the voice of all para-athletes to this board. I guess I've always looked at things in a different way, and I've shared this with most of my colleagues with the spinal injury young women, that because I hear them with a lot of problems, that they're always looking at the problems, they're looking at the difficulties of being in a wheelchair or using a device to mobilize. I do see that that is a problem, maybe a barrier, but then I don't really focus on that. I try to think positively, or I make a change. I think of how I could solve that problem, and I've always believed that things can happen. It's not that because I'm in this chair that I cannot participate out there, that I cannot get to where I want to. And I guess it's just my strength that I believe in God. I believe in God always being there, watching over me and meeting my needs as I go day by day. And yeah, with my role, I guess I could could be supporting them. Well, the association has always been providing support in terms of transport. But then what I'm doing now is trying to engage with corporates and writing letters to be able to get their support in terms of transport to assist these women out there, and also getting them to be involved in certain activities that we could come together and to be sharing more on how we could deal with our issues, and not just complaining that this is not happening or I'm not part of that because of this. Then, making a change, changing their mindset. When I started with Akalisi to go down to table tennis, we go in the afternoons. It was like we never missed one afternoon, Monday to Friday. We'd be going every afternoon. We'd spend 3 to 4 hours. We were so crazy about table tennis. And then it happened that I got sick, and for 2 solid weeks, I was away from table tennis. And she calls me up one afternoon saying that she was lonely and she felt like she was losing hope. She thought that she won't be continuing on that. And I said, Aggie, never lose hope. Keep going. I'm just sick. After these 2 weeks, I'll be back on my feet and I'll be back with table tennis. We'll be traveling together again. I went alone. Someone took me in and then disappeared. And I've been traveling alone for some time, and then you've come in. And I want you to just stay on. Just give me these 2 weeks to recover. I'll come back. We're doing this for not just for us, not just for the two of us, but we're doing it for the rest of those women with disabilities, the younger ones. We show them that we can do it. We can become something that they can do. That was what that kept her going on for the rest of 2 weeks. Even when she came up with the fact that she wasn't able to continue because she had no taxi fare, and I said, I'll foot the bills, you be there, I'll come back. And after 2 weeks I was back, and we just continued on up till today. And yeah, she's even got employment. She's been employed by Fiji Table Tennis down at the center. She collects fees for everyone who comes in to use the tables. That's how we've been together until today. I still believe that I can just do things out there, make things happen. And I want them to be thinking the same. And I'm encouraging, everywhere I go, I'm always introducing table tennis. I'm promoting table tennis the most, not just with persons with disabilities, but with able-bodied that I get to meet. And I'm always trying to tell them that this is one good sport. And I encourage my colleagues every time I meet them. I tell them that this is a good sport, that this is something that they can take on. It's not too strenuous, it's not over physical. It's played indoors. But then I guess, it depends on how they want to look at things. It would be great to have appropriate chairs, but as you've said, I've won gold, I've participated in other major tournaments with my everyday chair. That spells it out. Yes, commitment has to come first. Everything is here.